Just 24 hours before our dream home move, my daughter revealed an incredible life-changing secret. Jake stood on the front porch, the golden rays of the setting sun illuminating the moving trucks lined up along his street like soldiers ready for the parade of their new life. Just 24 hours stood between him and the charming little house he and his late wife had envisioned together. He could practically feel the excitement buzzing in the air as his neighbors chatted animatedly, their joy contagious. But just as bliss was ready to wrap around him like a warm blanket, 12-year-old Lily walked outside, her face unusually serious. "Dad, I need to tell you something," she said, her voice shaking slightly. "What is it, honey?" "You can tell me anything," Jake replied, heart pounding with sudden concern. "I've been volunteering at the community center." Her eyes sparkled with a mixture of pride and fear. "There are kids there, Dad, kids who don't have enough to eat. They're in trouble." Shock shot through Jake like a lightning bolt. He looked at his daughter, the girl who had always been his little sunshine, now possibly facing a moral conundrum that could shift the weight of their dreams. "Why didn't you tell me? I didn't want to ruin our moving day. But I've made friends there. It feels like I need to help them." Her words tumbled out, urgent and fervent, his heart wrenched. Here they were, on the brink of their new dream, and his daughter was wrestling with a heavier burden than he ever imagined. The excitement he felt just moments before began to feel like a distant memory, tightening around him like a noose. An unexpected panic gripped him as Jake struggled to comprehend the scope of this revelation. Could they really move into a house filled with love and laughter while turning their backs on neighbors who were suffering? The echoes of his wife's ideals rang in his ears, the spirit of generosity, the importance of giving back. He glanced up, noticing some neighbors casting judgmental looks his way, as if suggesting his daughter's commitment was mere idealism, misplaced aspirations on a day meant for celebration. With every second, Jake felt the rift between personal happiness and community responsibility widen. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." "Now let's continue," Jake struggled. A charity fundraiser seemed like a perfect compromise, he thought. But just when he felt they could bring the neighbors together, the weight of unforeseen obstacles slammed into him. Conflicts arose, just as socioeconomic prejudices erupted from the community like a flood, revealing hidden insecurities he had harbored in his chest. With every word, fear danced on the edge of their conversations, leaving Jake questioning everything he knew about being a good father. But just then, as she spoke passionately about her new friends, it hit him, the realization that his and Lily's true happiness lay not in a beautiful home of bricks and mortar, but in the bonds of love, service, and community. As they stumbled through this emotional maze, clarity washed over Jake. Standing there with his daughter, surrounded by their dreams and challenges, he could feel a sense of hope resurging. Yet, uncertainty loomed ahead. Just as they started to navigate these ties, a shocking revelation altered everything again, leaving father and daughter to confront the possibility that real success might mean honoring their commitment to the world outside their dreams. What would they choose? The promise of happiness, or the heartache of responsibility? Jake took a deep breath, momentarily lost in the weight of his daughter's words. He looked at the horizon where the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows that seemed to underscore the tension in the moment. Their move, once a joyous occasion, felt overshadowed by a sense of urgency that tugged at him. Would they really be able to unpack boxes and decorate their new home while ignoring the needs of others? "Lily," he finally said, his voice steady but soft, "I'm so proud of you for wanting to help, but what do you want to do? I mean, we are moving tomorrow. It's a big change." The thought of how much they had planned, the dreams he held tightly, chilled him. He didn't want to let go. "I want to help them, Dad. They're like us but without enough food or a warm bed. They deserve better." Her eyes shone, filled with tears and determination. With a heart full of love, Jake reached for her. He pulled her close, soaking in her passion. It made him believe in the innate goodness she carried. "But how?" He pressed gently. "We have this new house waiting for us. Where do we even start?" We could host a dinner or a fundraiser, she exclaimed, her voice rising with excitement. Sensing her father's reluctance, she added, it doesn't have to be big. Just something where we can be with them, maybe raise a little money or food. I can't just forget them. Jake felt his heart swell and ache all at once. The idea of hosting a gathering was enticing. But what would the neighbors think? Would they support this cause or judge it? He caught a glimpse of a neighbor, Mrs. Thompson, chatting with a couple of other families across the street, their laughter ringing out, starkly contrasting with the heavy heart carrying Lily's plight. You're right, he finally said, a mix of resolution and doubt lacing his voice. We need to at least try. If we wait until after we move, who knows how long it'll take to settle in. But we can't do this alone. We need help. With determination glinting in her eyes, Lily nodded. We can ask everyone. Just think, Dad. If we show them how to help, maybe they'll want to join too. He felt the power behind her words. Together they could create something beautiful. Something that represented not just their dream but theirs as a community. Jake's heart surged with pride as he began to visualize small tables scattered across their soon-to-be backyard, filled with food and laughter as neighbors came together for a common cause. So how do we start? He asked, fully engaged now. Let us make some flyers. We can go door to door. We can share the stories. It'll be fun. They'll want to help. Lily's enthusiasm was infectious. Jake smiled, feeling a mix of hope and fear. All right, let us do it. As they rushed inside to gather supplies, the atmosphere shifted. The moving trucks felt less like momentous symbols of a new beginning, and more like the foundation of a project born out of compassion. They hurriedly scribbled ideas, voices overlapping in excitement. But just as they began to set their plan in motion, the doorbell rang. Jake glanced toward the door, curiosity peaking in his heart. Who could it be at this hour? Dad, are you coming or just going to stand there? Lily nudged him playfully. Jake chuckled nervously, but his heart quickened. Maybe this surprise held the key to something bigger than they had anticipated. With a deep breath, he moved towards the door, prepared for whatever revelation awaited them. As he opened the door, his breath caught in his throat. There, standing on the porch, was a face he never expected to see. Why was she here now of all times? And what would this encounter mean for their plans? Jake's heart raced as questions flooded his mind. The door swung open and there she stood. Emily, his childhood friend, wearing the worry lines of a life that had been both kind and cruel. It had been years since they last spoke. They'd once shared dreams and laughter, and now those memories rushed back like a wave, pulling Jake under. Jake? Her voice trembled, clinging to that familiar blend of hope and uncertainty. Her eyes darted to Lily, who remained glued to her spot, fidgeting with her hands and studying the exchange with keen interest. Emily, what are you doing here? Jake managed to stammer, confusion tightening his chest. All the memories flooded in, colored with laughter yet shadowed by the hint of silence between them over the years. I needed to see you, she said, her face a mixture of sincerity and raw emotion. I heard you were moving in tomorrow. I just wanted to catch up. Jake could see the apprehension in her gestures. After all this time he couldn't help but let the words hang in the air. It felt surreal. How long had it been? It's been 10 years? Something like that, she said, taking a small step forward. I know this is sudden, but I have something important to tell you. The gravity in her tone made his stomach twist. Okay, he said slowly, urging her to continue. His heart thudded with a mix of anticipation and fear. Lily glanced at him, her eyes wide with curiosity, sensing the shift in the atmosphere. Things have been tough for me. Emily drew in a shaky breath, her eyes welling with tears. When my father lost his job, it put a strain on everything. I thought I could manage, but I've struggled. And I've been trying to find ways to turn it around. But I don't know if I can do it all alone anymore. Jake felt the weight of her sadness, understanding how life could twist and turn in unpredictable ways. What's going on, Em? He asked gently, his protective instincts kicking in. I've been volunteering at the shelter downtown, she confessed, glancing down as if the ground might offer answers. I know it might seem too late, but I want to do more. I need to do more. Lily's eyes sparkled with realization, and she stepped a little closer, intrigued. Dad, we can help. We were just talking about hosting a dinner. Maybe we can team up. The spark of hope in Lily's voice ignited something inside Jake. You would help? He asked Emily, trying to anchor this unexpected turn in their conversation. You'd want to join us? I'd love to, Emily said, a hesitant smile breaking through. I didn't know how to reach out, but I've seen the need. People are struggling and I want to help loosen the burdens on their shoulders. We have to try together like we used to. Heart-pounding, Jake looked at Lily and then back at Emily. Memories enveloped them, a mosaic of dreams and aspirations, of late-night talks over the future. Could this moment be the start of pulling those dreams together again? Just as Jake was forming plans in his mind, a loud honk pulled them all back to the present. A moving truck idled a short distance down the street, the driver waving impatiently. Wow, what timing! Even in the confusion, a smile broke on his face. But we really should, figure this out. Tonight feels like the moment. Tonight? Yes, Lily exclaimed, her enthusiasm infectious. But as Jake looked into Emily's eyes, he sensed the weight of her past and the uncertainty that still clung to her. Tonight, though, it won't solve everything, he worried aloud. No, but it could be the first step, she replied softly, her voice earnest. That is how it starts, right? As they stood on the porch, a current of shared determination swept through them. Maybe they could create a community together again in this new place, one filled with hope and compassion. But as they stepped back inside, Jake couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. Emily was back in his life and he wasn't sure where it would lead. But one thing was certain. They needed to act quickly before either of their dreams faded into distant memories. Dad, what if we make the dinner tonight? Lily interrupted his thoughts. Bubbling with excitement, Jake glanced at her, feeling that familiar tug of cautious hope mixed with urgency. You really think we can pull this off? Absolutely. We can do this, her confidence was unyielding as Jake nodded. Several new questions fluttered in his mind. How would neighbors react? Could they truly inspire others to help? And as he prepared to turn back, an unexpected worry simmered beneath the surface. Did he have the strength to bring them all together when his own heart still carried fears of failure? The magic of the moment hung palpably, but Jake knew one thing for sure. This night would define everything. A stirring realization washed over him, leaving him breathless with anticipation and dread all at once. What awaited them as they crossed this threshold, where the past and present collided and opened doors to uncharted futures? Jake felt the heavy weight of the moment as he turned back to the house. Everything inside him seemed to collide, memories tugging at his heart. This unexpected reunion felt like diving into deep waters, exciting yet frightening. With each step toward the kitchen, where the scent of quick-fix dinner ideas lingered, he knew time was slipping away. Lily was already rummaging through cabinets, her enthusiasm bubbling over. We need pasta and garlic bread, she called out, her excitement washing over them like sunlight through clouds. All right, Jake encouraged, trying to match her energy, even as his mind raced with doubts. Pasta was manageable. He could definitely pull this off. Emily watched Lily with a soft smile. She's got a good spirit, she remarked, her eyes shimmering with warmth. Just like I remember. Yeah, she always brings that sunshine, Jake replied, a smile tugging on his lips. It felt good to share this moment, even if his chest clenched with uncertainty. While Lily danced around the kitchen, Jake took a breath. What do you really want to discuss tonight, Em? He asked, giving her a chance to open up further. Emily hesitated, her gaze drifting to the wall. The shadows of unspoken words hung between them. I guess I want to lay my cards on the table. It's not just the shelter, I've been struggling with this feeling of loss. I thought I could handle everything alone, but it's hard to face without support. Jake nodded, understanding the weight of her admission. You're not alone anymore, he assured. You have Lily and me. We're in this together now. Do you really think so? Emily's eyes connected with his, searching for authenticity. It's just I don't want to be a burden. Jake shook his head. It's what friends do. We help each other. It's not a burden. It's building something good together. Lily peeked around the corner, her face bright with excitement. What are you two talking about? Are we coming up with a plan? Absolutely. We are going to turn this dinner into something special, Jake said, trying to keep the tone light. But inside he felt the weight of Emily's struggle and the hope they were trying to build together. As they prepared the ingredients, laughter and cheerful chatter filled the kitchen. Jake found himself reminiscing about simpler days, moments spent dreaming out loud about futures that felt so far away. But just as they were stirring the pot of water to boil, the atmosphere shifted. The doorbell rang, slicing through the warmth, leaving Jake startled. Who could it be? They come early? Or are they neighbors checking in? Emily asked with a frown, the expression on her face reflecting a mix of irritation and curiosity. Good question, Jake murmured, glancing at the clock. It was only 6 o'clock. Let us find out. He opened the door, anticipation teetering on the brink of apprehension. Standing on the porch were two neighbors, an older couple, smiling brightly, a bottle of wine in one hand and a plate of cookies in the other. Welcome to the neighborhood, the woman chirped, her gray hair bouncing with her movements. We thought we'd bring a little treat to celebrate your arrival. Jake's heart swelled, the initial tension in his shoulders easing. Thank you. That is so kind of you. As they entered with warm smiles and welcoming remarks, Jake realized how necessary this connection could be. His worries felt lighter, like a burden shared instead of carried alone. But then, as laughter echoed and stories began to flow, a small but urgent thought nagged at Jake. What if it was all too good to be true? Could their intentions genuinely bring the community together? Or was he setting himself up for another heartbreak? In that moment, Jake caught Emily's eye again. Her face was a mix of hope and fear, mirroring his own. Would they really be able to make a difference to restore that sense of community he'd longed for? The dinner was a risk, but realizing this was only the beginning of what lay ahead churned within him like a storm. Did they have the strength to make it happen? Just then Lily rushed in, interrupting his thoughts. Dad, can we talk about the seating? I want to make sure everyone feels included. Jake smiled, but his mind was swirling with uncertainty. Emotions danced in the air as they welcomed the neighbors, yet a lingering question remained in the back of his mind. Was this dinner truly the start of something beautiful? Or just another fleeting moment that would slip through his fingers like so many before? As the night unraveled, the world outside dimmed, and all senses heightened. Jake's heart raced. What would tomorrow hold for them? The anticipation hung thick, for they were on the edge of something big, but only time would tell if it would bloom or crumble. With that, the weight of unknown challenges loomed ever closer, whispering questions into the air. What truths could they all share? And would they be ready for whatever revelations the night would bring? The chatter of welcoming voices filled the kitchen, creating a comfortable barrier against Jake's swirling thoughts. The older couple, Bill and Marge, settled onto bar stools, eager to dive into conversation. What a nice place you've got here, Marge said, her eyes sparkling as she took in the bright, open kitchen. So much potential for family gatherings. Just like the ones we used to host. Exactly, Lily exclaimed, her enthusiasm bubbling over. We're making dinner right now. You should stay and eat with us. Jake shot her a quick look, almost panicking at the thought. He wasn't prepared to feed extra mouths, but he saw the hopeful glint in Emily's eyes. She looked genuinely relieved, as if this little gathering was a healing balm on an old wound. Why not? Bill chimed in, smiling broadly. We'd love to stay. Nothing like good food to break the ice. Jake shrugged, feeling the tide of the evening begin to shift in a different direction. All right then, if you don't mind pasta. His voice was tentative, the concern about his cooking skills creeping back. Pasta sounds perfect, Marge replied, clapping her hands together in delight. The warmth of their acceptance wrapped around him, easing his tension just a fraction more. While Lily whisked the flour and water together, Jake focused on the cooking, hoping to wrangle the chaotic emotions swirling within him. He chopped garlic with fervor, savoring the familiar smell while losing himself in the rhythm. Each cut was a step toward normalcy, a step away from the shadows of his past. Emily joined him at the counter, her presence a steady anchor. You're doing great, she whispered, a soft encouragement navigating through the air. I think this is really good for all of us. Jake nodded but felt the weight of her words. Good could mean so many things. Was he really doing well? Or was he just masking fears behind pasta and laughter? As the pots began to simmer, the conversation shifted to neighborhood stories, laughter filling any gaps of uncertainty. Jake found himself sharing bits of his life, of how they came to be here, and how Lily's bright spirit had brought joy back into his world. But amid the laughter, his heart felt an ache, the fear of exposure lurking beneath the surface. If they shared their story, if he laid down all the burdens, Would it bring them closer together? Or would it push Emily further away? Just as those doubts began to creep in, a sudden commotion turned everyone's attention toward Lily. She was waving her arms dramatically. And we also have dessert. Chocolate cake. Do you like chocolate cake? The laughter erupted, and for a moment it calmed Jake. Even in the chaos, Lily's spirit was infectious, firing up a hope that perhaps tonight could be the night they started to mend the fractures of their past. In the warmth of the kitchen, everyone joined in the preparations, stirring the pasta, seasoning the sauce, and rearranging chairs at the table. It felt good, like they were building a family in fragments, each piece fitting together despite the cracks. But as they set the table, the sound of sirens blared in the distance, slicing through the warmth. Jake's heart dropped. Was it a sign? A reminder that the world outside was still dangerous and unpredictable. He caught Emily's eye once more. There was an understanding between them, an unspoken reminder of their shared burdens and worries. Open hearts could lead to vulnerability, and there was a shifting essence between them that thickened the air. What do you think? Should we eat as a big happy family or keep it simple? Jake asked, trying to project lightness, though uncertainty gnawed at him. Lily piped up, her voice cascading like sunshine. Big happy family. Jake offered a feeble smile, but inside a storm brewed. Could he let go of his fears? Could he really invite deeper connections into their lives without losing himself in the process? As the evening air thickened with laughter and the aroma of cooking pasta, the night felt like a clashing whirl of hope and anxiety. Jake realized he was on the edge, a precipice that could either lead to healing or devastation. Was he ready to leap into the unknown? What secrets would surface when the plates were empty and emotions ran high? With every heartbeat, the answers drew closer, eager to emerge. The laughter faded into comfortable chatter as everyone grabbed their plates and settled around the table. Jake's heart raced as he watched the easy way Bill and Marge engaged with Lily and Emily. It was like they belonged here, like this round table and the food before them were pieces of a puzzle he had yet to solve. Let us dig in, Marge declared, her smile brightening the room. That simple statement unfurled something inside Jake. He looked at the colorful food he'd prepared, the pasta glistening under the dim light, and suddenly it felt heartfelt and real. Emily ladled sauce over her pasta, her movements fluid and confident. This tastes amazing, Jake, she said, glancing up at him with those warm, appreciative eyes. He felt a swell of pride, the barriers of self-doubt loosening in her presence. As they began to eat, conversations flowed like the wine they poured. Bill recounted a funny story about his fishing days, how Marge had once convinced him to wear a ridiculous hat that both embarrassed him and delighted onlookers. Laughter erupted again, lifting the air with joy. But in the silence that followed, Jake felt the weight of unspoken words pressing down. Should he just let the night flow? Or should he share? Every fiber of his being cautioned against vulnerability, yet the proximity of these new faces was coaxing that uncomfortable truth from him. Jake, you seem a bit lost in thought, Marge noted gently, her eyes perceptive. Everything okay? He glanced at Emily, who nodded slightly as if urging him forward. What harm could it do to share a piece of himself? He cleared his throat, fingers clutching at the edge of the table. It hasn't been easy for us moving here, leaving everything behind. I guess it still feels a bit like we're searching for home. Marge leaned in, curiosity etched on her face. It takes time, dear. Family is more than blood. It's where you find comfort. Bill nodded vigorously. You're building it right here with each meal, each laugh. You've got something special. Jake's heart warmed but also tightened at the prospect. Could he dare to believe they were building something genuine? Yet he sensed a disturbance inside, the remnants of scars that still stung, remnants that he was afraid to lay bare. Before he could respond, Lily jumped in. I found a puppy today, she exclaimed, eyes shining brightly. Can we keep it? Please. I promise I'll take care of everything. Jake couldn't help but chuckle. A puppy? Just what we need, more life to love and care for. The momentary relief from the heaviness of his thoughts felt good, but the underlying tension remained. Pasta lay half-eaten on their plates, and Jake's mind swayed between the melancholy of his past and the hope for the future. Just then Emily reached over, her hand brushing against his. A simple gesture that was packed with meaning and anchor. A reminder of shared burdens and a promise of trust. What about you, Emily? Marge prompted, her kind gaze shifting. How has the move treated you? The room fell silent, all eyes now on Emily, who momentarily froze. As if struck by something, she looked at Jake, then at the others. Well, I feel like I'm finding pieces of myself again, she admitted softly. But it's complicated, things from the past still linger. I want to be better. Jake's heart raced. His thoughts darted to their shared pain, the unspoken struggles that constantly hung in the air between them. Somehow it felt like a pivotal moment, one where the truth couldn't stay buried much longer. As the silence thickened, Jake's stomach churned. Could she share the weight of her past too? And would it finally open the door for both of them to heal? Soon the air filled with unease but also anticipation. Every moment felt laden with the possibility of new revelations, connections on the cusp of revealing themselves. Would the evening bring forth new truths, or would the shadows cast by their histories continue to forge their paths apart? Only time would tell as they navigated the delicate threads of their intertwined stories. The real question was, were they ready to confront their demons together? Emily's voice trembled slightly as she spoke, breaking the palpable tension in the air. I know I've been distant, but it's hard to forget. Hard to start fresh when everything feels heavy. Sometimes I wonder if I'll ever truly fit in. The weight of her words hung like a cloud over the table. Jake felt his own heart ache for her. They shared this burden of the past, an invisible thread binding them, but he also saw the flicker of understanding in Marge and Bill's eyes. Clearly, they too had once carried secrets that felt too large to handle. Fitting in takes time, Emily, Marge said gently, her voice soothing. You're not alone in this. We're here for you. But Emily's eyes glisten with unshed tears. It's not just about fitting in, I feel like I'm losing myself. I keep trying to be okay, to be this version of me that everyone expects, but it's exhausting. Lily, oblivious to the heaviness, chimed in. Can we name the puppy Hope? Because that's what it feels like we're all searching for. Her innocent enthusiasm provided an almost comical contrast to the seriousness of the conversation. It drew reluctant smiles, lightening the atmosphere just enough for Jake to breathe. Hope is a good name, Jake said, his voice steadier than he felt. I think we could all use a little more of it. He shot a quick glance at Emily, silently telling her they could get through this together. Strains of their past floated in the air like whispers. Images of untold stories danced around them, yet here they were sharing a meal, reluctant but determined to weave something new. Bill broke the spell with his classic humor. Me and Marge, we've had our fair share of trying to fit in as well. Remember the time we tried to join that dance class? I nearly broke my ankle. Laughter erupted again and Jake joined in, grateful for the distraction. But clumps of unexpressed feelings still wound around him. He placed a hand on Emily's arm, a small gesture meant to convey support. You're not losing yourself, Emily. You're discovering who you can be. What if I don't like who I find? She whispered, the anxiety clinging to her voice like a heavy coat. Marge squeezed Lily's hand, more reassuring than before. No one ever likes every part of themselves. The trick is to embrace the growth, the change. That's where the magic happens. The room took on a soft glow, filled with kindness amidst the uncertainty. Jake could see in each of their faces the profound truth shared in that moment. That healing was messy and sometimes painful but essential. They were each lost, grappling with fear and yearning. Yet together they were finding a way through the fog. Just then the doorbell rang, cutting through their heartfelt exchange. Startled, they shared curious glances. Who could that be? Bill muttered, his brow furrowing. Jake's heart thumped louder in his chest. Could it be? Emily began, her voice trailing off, eyes wide with a sudden mix of hope and apprehension. Only one way to find out, Jake said, rising from his seat. He felt a surge of determination pushing him toward the door. As he opened it, the air shifted as a figure silhouetted against the porch light stepped forward, bringing with them a new wave of energy, excitement, and possibly unraveling truths. What did it mean for them all? With barely a moment to catch his breath, Jake felt the weight of new possibilities pressing forward. His stomach churned in anticipation. He could practically feel the next chapter of their journey waiting to unfold. What revelation could come knocking at their door? Jake's mind raced as he opened the door, revealing a tall figure standing just outside. The porch light illuminated only part of the visitor's face, casting deep shadows that made it hard to see their expression. Jake's heartbeat quickened. They seemed familiar, yet he couldn't quite place them. Hey there, the figure spoke, stealing Jake's breath for a split second. It was Anna, Emily's childhood friend, the one she hadn't seen in years. The warmth of nostalgia washed over him, mixing with the worry that suddenly flooded his thoughts. What was Anna doing here? Surprise, Anna said, stepping into the light, her smile brightening the atmosphere. Emily sprang up from her seat, her face a blend of disbelief and joy. Anna, how did you get here? I knew you were moving into town, so I figured I'd come and see you just before the big move. Anna's excitement radiated as she closed the distance between them. Emily wrapped her arms around her tightly, tears spilling from her eyes again for a different reason this time. I can't believe you're here, Emily whispered, the words quivering with happiness. As Anna pulled back, she turned to the rest of the table. Hey everyone. Long time, huh? Her voice was bright, but Jake sensed an underlying tension in the way Emily clung to her. Could Anna's return stir up more complex emotions than expected? Come in, Jake urged, stepping back to let her enter. He noted how the room shifted as Anna joined them, the air thickening with unfamiliar energy and expectations. They all settled around the table, and as the initial excitement settled into a comfortable buzz, Jake felt the eyes around them dart between Anna and Emily. Everyone could sense the layers in their past friendship. Can you believe it's been so long? Anna asked, bringing up a coffee cup to her lips thoughtfully. I mean, we had all these plans about conquering the world together. Yeah, remember that summer camp? Emily laughed nervously. I spent half the time trying to teach you how to cook and you burned everything. Hey, in my defense, those marshmallows were supposed to be golden brown. Anna feigned indignation, drawing laughter from the group. Yet Jake noticed the glances she cast towards Emily, the worry lurking just below the surface. The stories flowed as the sun dipped lower, spilling a golden hue into the room. It was a much-needed escape from the heaviness of earlier conversations. But Jake couldn't shake the feeling that Anna harbored something more significant than nostalgia. There was a tension in her posture, a hint of hesitation in her voice. Emily's laughter faded as she turned towards Anna, a more serious expression setting in. So how has life been for you? The question hung in the air, heavy with unspoken wishes. I've been okay, busy. But something happened recently, something important. Anna's gaze shifted to the floor, the former lightness vanishing like smoke. You can tell us, Emily encouraged softly. We're all friends here. A pause filled the space, thick with anticipation. Jake could almost hear Anna's heartbeat resonate within the walls. I'm pregnant, she finally confessed, looking up to meet Emily's eyes, a mixture of joy and fear in hers. The air stilled and every pair of eyes in the room fixed on her, their expectant silence amplifying the moment. Emily's reaction was instant, a swift mix of joy and surprise. Oh my God, Anna. She reached out, gripping Anna's hands tightly. Jake felt something uncoil in his belly, something that should have been excitement turned cold. Conversations buzzed around him, but his focus snapped to Emily. This would change everything. What did this mean for them, for the past they all shared? The laughter faded into an uneasy silence, and new questions began to weave their way through the air. He could already sense the shift forming. Anna's revelation hung heavily in the air. Would it fracture their fragile bond? Or could it knit them closer? Jake's mind reeled, and he knew they had to address the truth behind the past. Are you ready for this journey? Jake finally asked, his voice steady amid the shifting emotions. All eyes turned to Anna, who was now at the center of their universe. What came next would determine the course of their lives forever. Would this revelation unite them, or pull them apart? Anna took a deep breath, her shoulders rising and falling as she pieced together her thoughts. Honestly, I'm terrified. Her voice trembled, the mask of excitement slipping. I've been meaning to tell you for weeks, but I didn't know how. Emily squeezed her hands, urging her on. You can do this, Anna. Just let it out. I don't know who the father is. The words hung in the air like a heavy weight, muting the laughter that had just filled the room. Jake felt his heart race again, not out of excitement this time but out of sheer tension. Wait, what do you mean? Emily leaned in, concern pooling in her eyes. It was as if Anna had shattered the fragile illusion of intimacy they had just built. Things got complicated after college. I tried to move on, tried to build a life. But I ended up making a mistake twice. Anna looked away, her voice barely above a whisper. I got involved with someone who wasn't good for me. It was a whirlwind, and now her gaze returned to Emily, betraying her fear. I don't know what to do. In that moment, Jake felt the emotional gears grinding as they shifted. Just how much of Emily's past did Anna actually hold? Were they intertwined in ways he hadn't considered? The thought of their shared memories growing darker filled him with dread, and he shifted in his seat. How can I help? Emily said, her voice steady, yet Jake could see the worry dancing in her eyes. I don't know if I want to keep it, or if I will become a single mother, or if I should reach out to anyone. It's a huge decision, Anna admitted, tears pooling at the corners of her eyes. The room fell silent, each person absorbing the tidal wave of Anna's revelation. Jake's thoughts sprang to the future they had discussed, the home that was just within reach. How could they move forward now, when one of their closest friends was carrying such a burdensome secret? Do you have anyone else to talk to about this? Jake finally asked, feeling a protective instinct flare up. I mean, beyond us. I'm trying to stay away from my family, I don't want to disappoint them. Anna sank back into the chair, arms crossed tightly as if she could physically restrain her feelings. Emily's face softened. You won't disappoint us. You know we're always here. We got you. They shared a moment, a silent understanding reaffirming the bond built over years. But Jake still felt the pressure building. Every heartbeat echoed in the back of his mind. What did this all mean? How could one unexpected visit unravel so much? Have you thought about talking with the father? He probed gently, sensing the need for more clarity. All of this can't go untold forever. Anna looked down, her brows knitted together in thought. I'm afraid if I reach out it could complicate everything even more. Before anyone could respond, the doorbell rang again. The sound resonated in the quiet tension like a gunshot, startling everyone. Jake shot a glance at Emily, whose expression mirrored his own, a mix of confusion and concern. Who could that be? Emily asked, slowly rising from her chair. That if this night had already spiraled into chaos, what awaited them on the other side of that door? Jake's heart began to race again as he braced for the unknown. As the door creaked open, the weight of the moment teetered on a knife's edge, and Jake couldn't shake the feeling that whatever or whoever was about to step through would change everything again. As Jake opened the door, his breath caught once more. Standing before him was a stranger, a tall man, rugged and worn, with an expression that screamed both resolve and vulnerability. He stepped forward, hesitating for just a moment before looking straight at Anna. Anna, he said, voice thick with emotion. I've been looking for you. The room froze, time collapsing around them. Anna's eyes widened and instinctively, she took a step back, retreating into the comforting embrace of Emily. The laughter that had cradled the kitchen moments earlier faded, replaced by an overwhelming silence thick with uncertainty. Who are you? Jake found the words in himself, stepping forward protectively, a shield for the emotions swirling. What do you want? The man glanced around the room, taking in its vibrant atmosphere, the laughter shared just seconds ago hanging in the air like a haunting memory. I'm here because I need to talk to Anna. We need to face this together. His voice trembled, each syllable weighted down by unresolved questions. Anna's hands trembled as she shook her head. No, we can't. Not now. But even she could feel the gravity of the moment, the pull of unfinished business demanding attention. This is important, he insisted, stepping one pace closer, his desperation cutting through the tension like a knife. Please just let me explain. I owe you that much. Jake stood there, filled with trepidation, glancing at Emily and then back at Anna, sensing the storm brewing just beneath the surface. What's going on, Anna? Emily's voice softened, encouraging her friend to speak, pulling gently at the threads of this delicate fabric they had begun weaving together. Anna looked between them, taking a deep breath, the burdens of fear and love colliding in her chest. This is Carter, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. The name fell like a pebble in a still pond, sending ripples of unease through Jake's gut. We were together a while back, but it ended badly. Lily, too young to grasp the weight of adult resolutions but always sensing the shift in moods, peeked from behind Jake's leg, her inquisitive eyes darting back and forth between the man and Anna. Please, Carter pressed, I've changed. I didn't know about the baby until just a few days ago. I came to find you because I didn't know? Anna interrupted, her voice sharp like glass. You haven't been there. How could you? You just disappeared. Tension mounted, filling the small airspace of the kitchen. Jake's heart raced, knowing this situation was spiraling faster than he could comprehend. "Look, I get it," Carter said, his voice cracking now as the emotion surged. "But this isn't just about us anymore. We have a child to think about." "Is that what this is about?" Anna shot back, fury mingled with pain. "You want to swoop in because there's a baby? Where were you when I needed you?" The hurt cut deep, resonating among them like a strum of an aching chord as the emotions ran high. Jake felt a strange compulsion to intervene. "What do you propose, Carter?" he asked, his voice steadier than he felt. "How do you plan to support Anna or that child?" Carter's shoulders sagged, overwhelmed. "I want to help. I want to be there as a father." Jake mustered his resolve. "You do realize there's more to being a parent than just showing up, right? You need to demonstrate you're ready." At that moment, Jake felt the whirlwind of his thoughts intertwining with Anna's, like threads of a tapestry weaving together after being frayed. Being present isn't just about sharing genes. It's about sharing burdens, joys, and sacrifices. Emily nodded, stepping close to Anna and holding her hand tightly. "We're all here for you, Anna. It's not about blaming, it's about building. You're not alone in this." The air crackled with palpable tension. Slowly, Anna's facade of anger wavered, revealing vulnerability beneath it. "I don't want to go back there," she said softly, tears welling in her eyes. Carter hung his head. "I don't want you to go back either. I just want a chance to do better. I owe you that." They stood like that for what seemed like eternity, the attempts at reconciliation knitting together the gaping wounds. In a collective moment of realization, Jake grasped that healing was not a distance to be traveled alone. It was the product of togetherness, of shared vulnerabilities, amid the chaos breathing in the kitchen. "Together," he whispered, and the word lingered in the air. Anna nodded, and even Carter took a breath, embracing the concept. "Maybe we could all help each other," Lily exclaimed suddenly, smiling brightly, breaking the weighty moment. "Like a family." In that instant, the bubble of tension burst, replaced by voices tinged with hesitation but also with hope. Conversations flowed again, punctuated by laughter, as they began to explore what the future might look like, flaws and all. Jake felt a renewed sense of purpose within him. They could be more than just neighbors, more than simply strangers linked by coincidence. They were partners in a journey toward healing, a collective heart piecing itself together. Warmth covered him as he looked around. Even in uncertainty, they were surrounding themselves with love. "Let us celebrate this," Jake announced, trying to make light of the heavy hearts gathered together. "We started a family dinner tonight, right? Let us not forget the dessert." He grinned at Lily, who eagerly jumped in to lead the charge, racing into the kitchen to fetch the chocolate cake. As Jake glanced back at Anna and Carter tangled in conversation, and then at Emily's eager smile, he realized this moment didn't erase the struggles ahead, but it validated the strength of human connection. In a world marked by unexpected curves, they were navigating this together, step by step, heart to heart. And together they had the power to transform the weight of burden into the lightness of hope. It was just the beginning, but it was enough. This is the moment we take action. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss what's next. Hit that like button now to help us reach more people with these uplifting stories. Comment your reactions and feelings about this powerful conclusion. And please, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation, because everyone deserves a chance at hope. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Support the journey forward.